Hi everybody, it's Leslie Burns again, coming back to you from Gold Crown Events, talking about contingency planning. Now, we talked in the earlier video about if your client has their own facility and it's easy enough to schedule a secondary date for like a rain date, but what happens if they don't? Let's say you're renting a facility. You might have rented a facility that, let's say, is not even in use. Let's say you rent a vacant building, or a building that the tenants have moved out and the owner just wants to have someone in there for this time period. They'd rather it not be empty. You have an opportunity there to have a secondary date, a rain date as well. Any kind of inclement weather date. It doesn't have to be rain, but for whatever reason your event can't take place on that date. You have the opportunity, and it's usually the next week. If, however, you have rented a very popular facility, let's say, a hotel banquet room or some other event, well, in the planning of the event, you're going to have to address those concerns. So, in there, you have a section within your written plan that you and your client agree on as to what the contingency plan is. For example, if we know that it's going to be an outdoor wedding, and we know that there is the possibility of weather, well, the first thing we want to do as the event planner is check every means possible. Historical weather patterns for that time of year. There's something called the Farmer's Almanac. People have used this thing for many, many years. I don't know how far back it goes, but I remember looking at it, and I think it was at least 100 years. It tells you 365 days a year, including leap years. It tells you historically what the weather conditions have been in specific states, specific zones of the country. So if 4 years running they have had storms during this particular weekend or this date, that's something that you might want to discuss with the client to say, hey, I looked into that date for you, and historically they have a lot of weather patterns going on. We may want to select another date. If, however, the person is stuck on that date, all right, that's great, that's fine. You can still plan around it, but just make sure that you address that in your contract terms. So this way you say, okay, client, will have the facility on this date. However, we're going to have a tent standby. A tent with floor standby. We're going to make sure that there is plastic sheeting or something that the guests can walk upon the grass or walk over the grass to get to the tent with. We are making sure that we're bringing umbrellas, for ushers or for someone to escort the guests covered to the building.